today's the day that we get to point the finger and lay the blame on some people. Like you really get to go back, process all the BS that you saw yesterday. You saw how flat the Cowboys came out. You saw how uninspired the team played. And today's the day that you get to kind of take a step back and say, you know what? I've evaluated everything. I slept on it. And now this is where the blame should go. And this is how we should move forward. So, T, I'm going to start out by asking you because it won't take that long. Where do you think credit
It could take
goes?
long.
No, I'm saying where do you think you should give some credit or some props to players on this team from what you saw yesterday?
Uh, bro, I don't really like offensive line, maybe because they held up pretty good. It was,
Yeah.
like Sean and RJ were saying on 105.3 The Fan, he um he being Dak, he just looked shook. Um, I mean, it, it, you got a very small amount of players that you could potentially give some credit to, but it wasn't enough. It's not enough credit to go around to make it
Yeah.
impactful. So where I could place blame, there's a lot of blame, and there's a
Oh,
laundry list
yeah. We're gonna
blame.
get to that. We're
But
definitely gonna get to
credit,
that.
like you said yesterday, Michael Gallup, he showed up when we needed him to show up. He wasn't a detriment to the team. Um, Offensive line, they held up pretty good. I just think Dak rushed a whole lot of passes. Um, Defensively, uh, maybe D Law in the
Hmm.
first half.
Hmm.
Um, I, Look, bro, it's none of the DBs, no DBs,
No,
and no hybrid
absolutely not.
linebackers.
Absolutely
Uh,
not.
I mean, when you go back and you look at film, bro, or you look at highlights, or even if you go back and look at the whole game, you can kind of tell. You can pay attention to individual players and say, oh yeah, you did this good, but then they have a bunch of bad plays, or you could say they did that bad and then they'll have a bunch of good plays. So I don't think there was anybody on the team that you could just point to and say, you did this bad right here, and then you had a whole lot of great plays,
Yeah.
because everybody was average. Like at the end of the day, from the coaching staff to the players, everybody was average at best.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I agree with you. There's not a lot of credit to really go around. I'll throw another name in there that you didn't mention. I'll say Big Ferg. Big Ferg played hard.
Yep.
He looked to try to be a catalyst between Dak and CD. It struck me as kind of odd that you kind of see Mike McCarthy go over to CD after that first initial series and try to calm him down or pacify him. I don't know what he was doing, but he was over in CD's face. I mean, not aggressively, but just kind of like, "Hey, man, we got you. Don't press."
You know what that
Uh,
looked like, bro? To me, that looked like going into the game, they had already discussed, we're gonna try to get you the ball, put the ball in your hands and let you cook. And then when we went out there, that first series or two, we didn't initially try to do that.
yeah,
And or when we did, he dropped the ball. So I don't know if it looked to me like he went over there to try to console him and say, either one, hey, it's okay, you had a couple drops. We gonna keep coming to you. Don't worry about it, because his body language was terrible. Um,
absolutely. It was atrocious.
or two, it was he went over there and just said, "We gonna try to get you the ball. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, I do think
So
he was trying to just basically settle CD down.
yeah,
Like, hey, man, there's a lot of football left to play. Um,
bro, it always baffles me that, and I hate to keep cutting you off, bro, but I gotta get this out. It always baffles me when receivers, they get down in the first quarter. Like, Like there's not 45 more minutes of football left. Like pick it
But
up,
I
bro.
kind of look at it like wide receivers are like shooters in the NBA, right? Like they need to get established early. They got to get a rhythm, and they got to find their spot. And if you don't get a shooter in rhythm early, then that kind of throws off their game for the rest of the game. I think that's kind of how the wide receiver position is for some of these guys.
I mean, maybe, but what do they tell shooters, bro? Shooters gotta shoot.
Keep
You keep
shooting.
shooting. You miss,
Yeah,
keep shooting.
right.
So, like I said, it just like that goes back to it just baffles me when you get down in the first quarter, like there isn't 45 more minutes of football left, and like
Right.
they're not gonna throw you the ball. You're the guy.
Right.
Like you are the guy. So
You got, I think another guy that kind of went unsung, believe it or not, at least in my opinion, was Tony Pollard. He was
yeah,
running the rock. He was getting some good chunk yards on the
he
ground.
showed up. He showed up.
Um, and that does also kind of speak to the offensive line as well, like you said, because they got to open up the lanes for him. But ultimately, man, when you look at the way this team played overall, now we get to the part that's going to be a lot easier to define, and that is where does the blame go? And I'll start with we'll start from the top on down. I'm gonna exclude Jerry right now because Jerry's his own situation, but I'm gonna start with Mike and Dan Quinn. Um, Mike was so committed to the run, and I don't know if it's because you hear the scouting report on Green Bay susceptible to the run, and they said, okay, we're gonna abandon everything that got us here, and we're gonna try to beat their weakness. But it kind of seemed like he was overly committed to a run, and not that the run wasn't effective, but eventually you have to get your guys going into what's normal, what the consistent you dance with what brung you basically, and we didn't do that. We were like, no, we're gonna try to get cutesy, and I feel like it's always the same shit. Like we're always trying to be cutesy instead of just doing what we do best.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I do agree that Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn they deserve a whole hell of a lot of blame, but as far as offense goes, yeah, we ran the ball, but we threw the ball 60 times, bro. And history tells us what when we throw the ball 60 times, we gonna lose. So I think that we did try to establish the run, and we ran the ball fairly effective when it was a close game, which
Right.
was the first 10 minutes. So we it, it threw me for a loop to see that okay, we down 24 points, and now we down. I think at some point it got to like 27, I believe. Uh, that we were
We were
down.
down as many as 30 points in the game at one point.
Okay, so at 30 points down, we still running the ball. Like I'm thinking at that time we were about to be, big play, try to big play, open it up a little bit. Then we can run the rock, maybe once or twice to big play to like we trying to score fast, and that just it wasn't the case when you looked at the game. So I I think it was good to see that he did try to establish the run. It looked like he was going to sprinkle that in there, but it to me it looked like he stuck with a game plan as if we were ahead and we were down 30 some odd points. So
We were down early and often, fam. Early and
so
often.
when you down that many points, bro, you just really can't run the ball. Like you
Right.
have to abandon the run and open up the pass
Right.
game to get back in the game.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it,
there was no consistency. Sticking with the coaches, moving over to Dan Quinn. I saw him get up this morning. Rex Ryan said Cowboys ran 54 defensive plays, and 48 of those we had six or more DBs in the game. So you're
bro,
playing small ball against a team that's gashing your ass for big runs, and your choice is to continue to play small ball.
Yeah, Dan Quinn is a guy that's like I think one of y'all said it yesterday. Um, we're gonna play our style of football and make you beat us, and we're not gonna adjust to what you're doing.
Yeah, that was me.
And that's Dan Quinn, bro. When you look at the last 5 or so games of the regular season and then the playoff game, what did he do? Like we started complaining, like you played man coverage all fucking year to get to the last half of the last part of the season and play zone defense, like literally zone defense. Seriously, your team is built for man defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they, I don't think I've ever seen zone defense played that bad. Like
Bro,
yesterday.
and we're playing zone on like 3rd and 4, and we're backed up 10, 15 yards off the wide receiver. Why?
Why?
Why are you giving
it,
that much cushion when they're running to the sticks, turning around and taking it because you're giving them all that cushion?
yeah, because you're not playing to stop the first down. You're already
No.
behind the first down marker. So when
You worried about getting beat deep. And it's like, bro, you giving up everything cheap.
shit, and then you getting beat deep. Like these, I don't think I've ever seen this season. I don't think I've seen this season wide receivers more wide open as Romeo Dobbs, bro. And it's not to
Man,
take
them
anything away from the
catches look
Green
like he
Bay,
was fielding a punt because there wasn't nobody
bro.
around.
Nobody. Like that long touchdown he had. I'm still trying to see where the defender was. Like,
Right.
what were you doing? But again, that goes back to we played man defense the whole year to why you change up the game plan at the end of
Sure.
the season? Like this
Right.
is he did I almost want to say he sabotaged the defense, bro, but I
Hey,
just
I
don't
I
see
I
that.
really I here's my theory on that. Like if you're gonna float out the theory of Dan Quinn may have sabotaged, I'll double down on that and ask you this. Would it not make sense to sabotage and be the hell out of the playoffs? Because now you're looking at guys that are trying to get a head coaching job. If Dan Quinn's already mentally committed to Seattle, would it not make sense to say, let me get my ass into the coaching uh field here to try to determine who my coaching staff is going to be? I got to
Yeah,
get my coaching staff together sooner rather than later.
I mean, yeah, like I really hate to say it, bro, but you know, when you like listening to Dan Quinn the last few years when we came up short, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna stick around. I'm gonna finish the job." You it could kind of lead you to believe that he turned down head coaching jobs to stay here to get the job done in Dallas. But the
You always
reality of
said something else. You always said different. So I'm glad you're bringing that up because
yeah,
I think I
the
know where you're going with this.
because to me the reality of it is I don't think them coaches wanted his ass. I mean, them
Right.
teams wanted his ass. Um, they because they're gonna judge you based off what you did in the playoffs. That's gonna be a large part of potentially the interview process. What did you do in the playoffs? And each year in the playoffs, his defense has been what trash. Um, I don't think he. I don't really think he understands how to utilize Micah. We using him as a 4 down, as an outside linebacker pass rusher. I think we need to back him up off the ball. Let him go find the ball. That's what he's good at. When you look at his
Sideline to
college tape,
sideline. Yeah.
when you look
Put
at
it
his
him and
college tape,
Overshown. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
him and
like
Overshown next year. I got a little more hope. Like I always forget, DeMarvion Overshown's here. I don't know how he's gonna look after he messed up his leg,
yeah, I don't
but
know about that. He
we'll
he looked
see.
good. He looked good early in this season, but
Yeah,
or in the preseason. But
he looks a little small to me.
yeah, like we still getting undersized guys, bro.
Yep.
Like we got to go out there and we got to find us a true linebacker. Like we need a true linebacker. Your job, stop every fucking body that got the ball.
Yeah.
Your job, when they get to you, stop their ass. bro. When you saw Ray Lewis, that was like a human shield, bro. He stood your ass up and he walked you back.
Yeah.
We need a guy. We need somebody like that. And for this team, we could say that Van Der Esch was that. But again, we don't know that he's coming back. Like I think
That
as of right
injury,
now,
I don't think that
he's
injury is gonna
done.
let him play any more football, bro.
And best of luck to Van Der Esch. I hate to wish injury. I don't want to wish injury on any
No.
player, but I like we have to start looking at replacements. And when players came up that were available, we have to stop sticking with the mentality of we're gonna try to win with our guys. We need position flex. Like position flex is cool, but you hope that you never have to use that.
Right.
Like you don't want to use that. You want these players to play at their true position.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, you want guys that are established in a position to play their position.
Right.
You can't go out and bring in a guy that plays linebacker and say, "Oh, play defensive end." Also, drop back in coverage like a corner. Also, can you play a little nickel here and there? Also, offensive lineman. I know you're a center, but can you play guard? Oh, I know you're a guard, but can you play swing tackle as well, just in case? And
Man, like it
no,
this shit is ridiculous, bro. And it's starting to get like every year when we make it to the playoffs, we got all these high hopes. And like Julio or Gerald said yesterday, bro, you really have to temper your expectations. I know we're gonna get to some of the comments that occurred after the game, specifically Jerry's. Um, but you have to temper your expectations with this team because you never know like they look great in the regular season and then get to the postseason and it's the same thing every year. Like I
same
think
story, different
I
day.
I think this loss here, like this might feel equally as bad as losing to the 49ers in the playoffs a few years back. Like it was never competitive at all. If you just looked at the score and the stat
Right.
sheets, you didn't get the whole tale of the game.
Right.
You got the score and the stat sheets. It was never close.
You're looking
Ever.
at empty calories.
Exact. Like, yeah.
That's what you're looking at,
Empty
trash
fucking
yards.
calories, bro.
That's it.
Mop up
And
duty.
and you're making a narrative of, oh, well, it was competitive. Dak had 300 plus. No. That's
No,
not the realness of it.
no,
That
not
that's
at
not the
all.
realness of it.
Not at